What does waiting in the dentist's waiting room have to do with IEPs? Welcome to the Special Education Inner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Catherine Witcher, and yesterday I was sitting in the waiting room of the dentist's office, not my favorite place to be, so I was distracting myself by thinking about IEPs and all of the things that can be done through the IEP process, but often are forgotten. And one of those things is, how do we integrate life skills naturally into the IEP process without sacrificing academics? See, a lot of times when we're talking about life skills and we're talking about all the different things that a child needs to make sure that they're prepared for further education, employment, and independent living, we think about the academics or we think about life skills and we think about them as two separate categories. But life doesn't work that way. Life is extremely integrated, right? We are working on using our academic skills and our life skills together at all times. And we need to be able to have a school day and a home life that can integrate those things too. So I shared out on Instagram, I was, just kind of showing a picture of the waiting room, and I said, hey, if your child cannot wait comfortably, or if your student cannot wait comfortably, we need to talk about how to integrate that into the IEP, because an IEP is designed or supposed to be designed, because that's the purpose of an IEP. I didn't make that up, right? I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice, but I am telling you that inside of the purpose and findings of IDEA law, it does say that the entire purpose of an IEP is not only to provide an appropriate public education, but it's also to meet a child's unique needs and prepare them for further education, employment, independent living. And that means that a child needs to be able to get through the hurry up and wait that happens in our everyday life. There's a lot of things that we have to wait for, and integrating that skill within the IEP in a formal way is a great way to help support a child get prepared for real life. Learning how to wait comfortably doesn't always happen naturally for everybody. It's something that we have to be extremely intentional about for so many students, and that's okay. But when we think about life skills and academic skills as two separate things, many times the thought process is that we have to sacrifice academic skills in order to get ready for life skills, and that is simply not true. In fact, one of the things that I used to do a long time ago in my classroom is we would have days where we would purposely sabotage the schedule. And I know there's many teachers that have this strategy too, to kind of integrate working on waiting. And it's one of those kind of strategies that you put into place after you figure out that life doesn't go the way you think it's going to go in your classroom. And then when things go wrong and you're scrambling, and then your emotions are heightened and your staff's emotions are chaotic, and then your students are feeding off of not only that the schedule has changed, but that the adults are not handling it well, then we realize we all need to work on this. We all need to figure this out. And to do that, we need to practice. So kind of sabotaging the schedule or purposely making things go wrong on certain days where we could be prepared as adults then to help the students through that, it was really important. And that's something that you could absolutely implement at home. If you're a parent who's listening to this and you're just like, that sounds just chaotic because my day is already not going the way that it's planned. Yes, but if we do some preparation, we do some practicing of this, when the days are chaotic, on most days, right, we become more kind of, we're adaptable to that situation because we've practiced it, and then we know everything is going to be okay. Everything doesn't need to fall apart when things don't go as planned. So when we talk about, implementing life skills throughout a child's school day and not sacrificing academic skills, that doesn't mean that they're just going to happen naturally without intention. You have to be intentional about making sure that we're integrating the life skills into the natural routines, and that's how we get to everything. That's how we don't have to sacrifice our academics to work on those life skills, that you can balance those together in a way that makes sense depending on the day of the week, depending on what, kind of the struggles are that are happening on that day. But again, if you can practice that, you're going to be more prepared for when it happens unexpectedly. Another way that we really need to get, we just need to get serious, okay? We need to get serious about technology and special education. Special education, we are so archaic in so many different ways, and we simply just cannot afford to avoid technology the way that it seems to be avoided on a regular basis. This is a great way to teach life skills. This is a great way for us to integrate things, because learning how to use technology while working on academics or while transitioning between academics, that's another way. Now, here's the thing. You are learning new technology every day, which means that the skills that it takes to learn new technology is something that your child, your students are going to need for the rest of their lives. Learning new technology is not something that you do once and then you're like, okay, I got it. No, learning new technology can be frustrating. Just as frustrating as waiting, right? It can be really, really frustrating. You're like, what is this new gadget? What's this new thing that I'm doing? So, what have you been learning lately? Like, think about, I don't know, maybe did you hop onto ChatGPT? Have you guys gotten into that? Like, if you haven't, I suggest that you do. Go figure out what this whole ChatGPT is and what's going on. Figure out that technology, because it's going to take, the internet to a whole new level, right? I can tell you, I had to figure out some new technology. We just gave MasterIEPCoach.com a whole new makeover, and I do a lot of that myself. It's something that I taught myself how to do when my daughter was going through a lot of complicated kind of medical issues when she was younger. There was a lot of sitting around and waiting, and I had to figure out how to wait comfortably. And the way that I learned how to wait comfortably was to teach myself a new skill, and that skill was actually how to do the tech side of all of the work. So I have been helping parents and teachers through the IEP process for 2 decades. That required me to have a website and a newsletter and social media and all of the things, right? All the tech side of things. And I had to teach myself how to do that. So for me to do my job and to reach more people and to help more people, I had to learn new technology. That could be frustrating on sometimes. I had to learn how to get through the frustration. I have to learn how to, not slam my computer down when I get really upset that things aren't going the way that I want it to go. So again, integrating technology and learning new things and setting up the structure and the supports that are needed to not only learn new technology, because again, like I said, we're avoiding this in special education. There are so many things that we should be doing. I mean, we just have not integrated anything to the capacity that it could be integrated. Everything from timers to calendars to just different accessibility apps that would make life so much easier if we would just get on board with them and hop out of kind of the old school way of doing things, right? So integrating the life skill of learning new technology into the daily routines of academics can be a really great way. Here's another one that technology has tripped me up, literally tripped me up this week. So I am learning how to ride an electric bike. Now, you might say, learning how to ride an electric bike, like it's not that hard. Oh, yes, it is when you have ridden an old-fashioned bike, right? A traditional bike for a very, very, very long time. And now when you hit the pedals, the gas, electric, right? The motor just takes you in a direction really fast, much faster than it used to go. So I may have fallen off my bike. My ego is still a little bruised. I'm definitely physically bruised. I'm okay. It's all right. My ego is bruised, though. Pretty bad with that. But I'm learning new technology and I'm frustrated and I actually got hurt and I needed to pick up and I needed to do this again. So this whole success and failure that happens throughout our days can absolutely be woven into the IEP process. So I want you to stop thinking about life skills and academic skills as two separate things, but we need life skills to get through our academic skills. So learning how to wait comfortably, learning how to use technology, learning how to get through the frustrations of those things. If you are a parent and you are struggling with these things with your child outside of school, that most likely means that there's a struggle that's happening within school. And teachers, if you are seeing a student struggle with these things, you need to open up the conversation, because the way that we help a student make more progress is to get on the same page, right? Is to make this an intentional conversation between parents and teachers, so we are no longer separating life skills and academic skills, but we are putting them together, and we're looking at how we're going to make progress, because it takes both of those areas working together for a child to truly meet their potential. So I would love for you to go check out the makeover that's happening over at masteriepcoach.com. You'll see a new blog page. You're going to see some new downloads and resources, some things that you can have for free. Again, just over at masteriepcoach.com. And I want you to really think about, if you're ready to help others through the IEP process, becoming a Master IEP coach is something that you can do as a parent, as a teacher, as an admin, or a therapist. There are millions of families that need help through the IEP process, and you could be the IEP coach that your community needs. You can find more information over on masteriepcoach.com. Don't forget, guys, no more separating life skills and academics. They go together. They both can be addressed in the IEP, and we don't have to sacrifice one for the other. We start thinking of this as just a whole of where do we need to work together for as a whole day for a whole child, because this is a whole process that is complicated. It has many layers, but you can do this. I'll see you guys next time on the Special Education Inner Circle podcast.